All right, listen up, please. Thank you. Hey, hey, no joke. That homework, easy or hard? Okay. So it is. Listen, please. So it is not a joke that word problems are challenging in Algebra 1. They are. I can promise you this. You know, some people take the word problems way easier than others. I was one of the ones that, at least in Algebra 1, I struggled. It took a couple years to get, I don't know whether it was confidence or just used to doing higher level math word problems. But eventually I got used to it as well too. So for all, you know, the at-level classes, it's an at-level, it's not an honors class, at-level class, I just make a promise, you're not going to fail because of a word problem. Right? You will fail because of the other stuff. The word problem will separate my B's from the A's. I'll put one word problem on the test, right? And it will be, for some of you, it'll be a challenging. For others of you that, like, well, I don't know what he's talking about. That homework was pretty easy. Well, then you'll be fine on the test. You'll probably get an A. But for the kids that are worried, like, oh, I'll never get these word problems, I'm only going to put one. So don't panic. The other stuff, which is what we're going to review today, the other stuff is what you got to be solid at, right? So yeah, any specific questions on the homework before we grade? Yes. Okay, so one thing that will, when that occurs, well, two things. First and foremost, this is a strange year because of COVID, but one thing that's a plus, we're being recorded right now, right? The video is being recorded right now. You have the option of going on Microsoft Teams.
We don't have the password for that yet.
You guys don't? The student advisement teacher gives you that.
I emailed her.
Okay, so that's who you need to talk to get that thing. But you can always review the class, and obviously it'll be your voice and my voice, but you can at least relive the class. Secondly, when you do get lost, you can always get the sheet of paper that I hand you every single day. And I said that I picked, what did we do, 4 of them on Friday? I think it was 4. I always pick 4 that are pretty similar to the ones I want you to do for homework, okay? So those are now maybe you know, neither one of those things help you, but those are the 2 things that I would offer. And then I guess the last thing is that, well, you can always tutoring and put the cube in your bag, please. Julie. Bag. Put it in the bag. You're not going to be able to resist it during class. All right. Any others? I thought any other specific. I mean, that's a good question, right? You know, I'm still lost, and you said that I wouldn't be lost, even though you said I was going to teach you. You didn't do a good job of it. Whatever, right? Word problems are challenging. Any specific other questions? Say again. All right. Here we go. Grade your work, please. Number 2, the question asked, there's a 1 and a 2, right? But there's just basically one question, how many round-trip tickets were sold, Tristan? Stop. How many round-trip tickets were sold? There were 600. 600 round-trip tickets. Right? These were the even ones, unless your name was Rylan, who had all. Number 4, the question says, find the amount of time that he spent watching space adventure movies. He spent 9 hours. 9 hours. Number 6, the question was 2 parts, right? It says find the number of calories for a stalk of celery and for a carrot. This was nearly identical to the one we did in class. Just they dealt with celery and carrots. Let's see, celeries have 7 calories. I don't know if that's true or not, but it sounds reasonable. And carrots have 20 calories. And the last one, number 8, 2 questions. It says, what are the dimensions? When you're asked dimensions, right, and you got to look at the geometric shape, and they're typically asking for length and width, especially if it's a quadrilateral. So in this particular one, the width is 24 centimeters. The length is 48 centimeters. And it says, make a sketch of the diagram, so I'll look at your picture. It says, then find the dimensions of each rectangle. So the width was 21 and the length was 56. Okay, and that was it. 8 was the hardest one. Questions? All right, here's what we got going on today. So we got a test on, I'll click that here in a second. We got a test on Wednesday, am I right? Wednesday. No, Thursday we start chapter 4. Just so that you have a vision of what's going on. I've got a couple, not many, but I got a couple people in class that have been really bored. They're like, I thought this was supposed to be Algebra 1. Where is it getting hard? Or when is it going to get hard? Right? Chapter 4 is when the pain begins. Right? For those of you that have your pre-algebra, I've said this a lot of times. Like I make a big deal about Algebra 1 is hard. Well, clearly for you, word problems are hard. But I said Algebra 1 is hard. It's challenging. It's difficult. But I said the first 3 chapters are kind of review, and yeah, it's still kind of review. Chapter 4 starts nothing but brand new stuff, right? Chapter 5 is big pain, big pain. It's solving quadratics. None of you know how to do this. It's weird stuff. Chapter 4 is on polynomials. For the most part, it is definitely new. It's got lots of definitions. It's got some rules. But for the most part, you know, if you do well in chapter 3, you'll do well in chapter 4. Chapter 5 is a whole level of different pain. Yeah.
So is there no school?
Yeah, this is Columbus Day.
Awesome.
All right. So yeah, we're going to start the really challenge. So for those of you who've been bored, well, now the time has come for all of us. The way we get around this, well, okay, I was still struggling with a C so far. Now you're going to say it's going to get more challenging. I'm just saying, a student that has a C, well, there's 2 reasons. 1, you made a whole bunch of silly mistakes, or 2, well, much of this stuff is new and it's challenging for you. Well, then nothing's changing. But for the student that's been sitting there like, well, I kind of learned this last year, this is where it starts being different, chapter 4. You should have. Pre-algebra teaches you everything that we've taught so far. Everything I've taught you so far, minus a few little key things. It's a straight up review, but chapter 4, new stuff, polynomials. All right, so I'm going to give you a worksheet today. It is going to be a second review of multiple step equations. I want to make sure that we have at least 2 shots at this material. I didn't want to do a review last week because I wanted a little bit of time between, pass it up, please. A little bit of time between the class and a review. So you're basically going to get 2 reviews. You're going to get the review today. You're going to get a review tomorrow. So you should be, oh, congratulations. Good job. You made us look really good.
27 minutes.
Right, but you're quick homework. And I was talking about cross country.
Mr. Sardier, do you have a stapler?
I do. It's over there.
If you like, please take it.
All right.
Guys, that's 27
So everybody
minutes.
listen up while all this movement's going on. So we're going to get 2 good, solid reviews of the material. Today's review is, I don't know, 90% of the stuff that's going to be on the test. The test is going to be on 1-step, 2-step, multiple step equations. But the key in here is this. You're not listening, you're talking. The key here is this, Tristan, is that when you do a multiple step equation, eventually it turns into a 2-step. And a 2-step turns into a 1-step. So I don't need to review 1 or 2-step equations. I just need to review today multiple step equations. And then secondly, to further comfort you, we're going to do 2 days review today and tomorrow. And then tomorrow I will literally hand you a copy of the test. Except it'll be a practice test. It'll say practice test. But it will look exactly, minus a word problem, exactly like the test. So let's do a quick review of multiple step equations. Quick review of multiple step equations. All right, so getting variables to one side. Notice I have an equation here. Here's the equal sign. I have variables on the left side. I got variables on the right side. You've done this before. This is a review. What was my recommendation when you have variables on both sides? Which one do we move? We move the smaller one, right? So notice I got a 3n and I got an n. I would like to move the smaller of the 2. Not because I must. It's just easier. We deal with fewer negatives. So how do I get rid of plus n? One side or both sides? So I subtract n from both sides. The best technique is to subtract the smaller of the 2. If we subtract 3n from both sides, remember, get rid of positive 3n, we subtract 3n, we're going to wind up with a negative 2n on that side. It's not wrong, it's just one more negative I got to deal with. So the best technique when you have variables on both sides, or the preferred technique, is to move the smaller of the two. When they're both positive, it's easy to see which one is smaller. When one's positive, one's negative, it's really easy to see which one to get rid of. When they're both negative, just be careful, right? Remember, as negative numbers get, as their numbers get larger, -5, -6, -7, -8, the value gets smaller. Okay, so I would move that one first. Let's see how this works in a real problem. So here's a real problem, right? I got an equal sign. There's nothing to simplify on the right side. I mean, I got a 3p minus 7. There's nothing to group together. There's no distributive property or anything. 4p plus 2 on the left side, nothing to group together. I'm left with variables on both sides. Chris, which one am I going to move?
So you're going to move -7.
Okay, so your choices were which one of the two variables am I going to move, and you chose -7.
Oh, sorry. 3p. I thought it was -7.
Okay, so we're going to move the 3p. Now, occasionally I do get students like, well, I want to move the -7. Well, I had 7 to both sides. The issue is this. If you move the 7 to the other side, or in other words, get rid of -7 on the right side, how do you know you didn't want it on that side? Right? Until you move the variables to one side, that's what determines which side are you solving for. So not that Chris couldn't add 7 to both sides. It's just that we don't know if we want all the variables on the left side. In this case, we actually do. So it would have been a fine choice. But I'm just going to caution you to move the variables first. So Chris, how do we move the 3p?
-3.
Subtract 3p from both sides. So I'm going to subtract 3p from both sides. Chris, 4p minus 3p. Notice we get a positive answer. This is why you choose to move the smaller of the two. Okay? Keep talking, Chris. What are we going to do next?
We're going to do -2.
Okay, subtract 2 from both sides. We want to get p by itself, so to get rid of +2, we subtract 2. Can you do that real quick, Chris?
9.
What is it?
9.
What is it?
P. 9p.
What is it?
9p.
What is it?
-9p.
-7 minus 2.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was -2.
It is.
It is not.
It is. -7, -2.
Sorry. Yes.
So the answer is?
9.
The answer is?
9.
Yes.
I kept saying that.
No, you were saying lots of things, but not that. All right. So we're going to go back to the basics. Now, let's be nice to our fellow students and the teacher. Let's interpret what just happened in the interaction I had with him. Did he solve it correctly? Like every step, did he solve? He did the right step. Yes or no? 100%. He did every step correct. He actually had one mistake, and what was the only mistake he made? He could not do -7 minus 2 correctly the first time. So more than likely, he would have put p equals 9. How many points should I take off for that answer? All of them or a little bit? I will take a little bit of points off for an answer like that. So your ability to get to the right answer is, well, it's critical to get the right answer, but it's not critical to pass the test in the sense of, wow, you're going to lose all your points for making one little mistake out of, I mean, this is a 3-step equation. You got to show me you do good algebra. Algebra is telling me how you get rid of things and doing it to both sides, doing all that stuff. The calculation portion is what gets you to the A level. The doing the right step will get you to a C level. I mean, he would have gotten I would have taken off 1 out of 4 points. That's 75% right. So you can certainly pass this test, even having a mistake. Make sense? All right. One more. Who do I want to pick on? Aiden, you have been here. All right, Aiden, do you see the equal sign? Okay, so we got left side and we got right side, yes? Notice we have variables on both sides, yes? So what do you want to move, the 7K or the 4K? We're always going to choose the smaller as a best choice, so agreed. So I'm just looking at 4K. How do you get rid of it? That would get rid of the 4. I want to get rid of the whole thing. I do. So how do we get rid of it? If I have, give me a noun with K. A noun with K. Kangaroo. You have 4 kangaroos. How do you get rid of 4 kangaroos? You subtract. Okay. I think Whole Foods sells kangaroo meat. Have you ever had it?
No!
Tastes like, I thought it tasted all right. I had it once or twice because I was curious. But, all right, I thought so too.
I had snake.
Okay, so
Snake is delicious.
Aiden said that we're going to subtract 4K from both sides. You guys agree? You guys agree? All right, so let's subtract 4K from both sides. Aiden, 7K minus 4K. 3K, right? All right, next step, Aiden.
3K plus 2.
Yeah, but what am I going to get rid of?
Oh, you have to get rid of the K.
We never get rid of the K.
I don't know. You have to get rid of the
Okay,
variable.
we're going to go back to step 1. Now, remember, Aiden, you were not here, but we're trying to get the variable by itself. In other words, we want K on one side, on the other side is the answer. I don't care about -10. It's not on the same side as K now. So I need to get rid of the 3 or the 2. Which one?
3.
Okay, always get rid of addition, subtraction first.
5. 3 plus 2.
That doesn't say 3 plus 2. That says 3K.
Plus 2. 5K.
Does not equal 5K because there's no kangaroos attached to this 2.
Oh my gosh.
So we got 3K plus 2. I want to get rid of the 3 and the 2. I can't do it in one step. I got to take 2 steps. That's why this one is called two-step equation now. So I would, once you get it down to 2, Chris, I know what you're doing. You already got it. We're going to get rid of the 2, Aiden. The 2 is being added. We're going to get rid of addition or subtraction first. How do we get rid of plus 2?
Subtract 2.
Both sides. Okay, -10 minus 2 is -12. Now how do we get rid of the 3?
3 you have to divide it by 12.
Both sides by not 12, by the number you're trying to get rid of.
3 equals 4.
Doesn't equal 4, but it's close.
3 divided by -12 is -4.
-4.
There we go.
Okay.
Negative K equals -4. I got that.
All right. Yes, everyone?
I knew it the whole time.
Oh, sure you did.
Okay. One last one. By the way, this is box number 1. Look at box number 1. Here we go. Let's do this one together real quick. Haley, you're up.
No, why?
Because you're up. Sorry. All right. Hey, you see the equal sign?
No.
Left side, right side. Notice we got variables on both sides, yes? Which one do you want to get rid of, -5s or -2s? Okay, not wrong to get rid of -2s, but we would like to get rid of the smaller. If you want to get rid of -2s, it will still get you the right answer. My rec
Negative 2s is the smaller one.
No, -5 is smaller than -2. Think of a number line.
-2 is closer to 1.
Closer to 0.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get rid of the -5s. So, Haley, how do we get rid of -5s?
Is subtract.
Say again? How do you get rid of subtracting by subtraction? So what are we going to add to both sides? So we're going to add 5s to both sides. See what I did? Okay. Kayla, can you do 5s minus 2s? Sure you can. 5s minus 2s. What? Now it's a two-step equation. Tristan, you're up. Solve this two-step equation. Tell me what to do. Okay, can you see the variable, yes or no?
Yes.
What side is it on? So what do we need to get rid of to have s by itself?
22.
Just 22 and we'd be done? Hey, guys, stop, please.
13.
Say again?
13.
Do you see where the variable is?
Yes.
What is the goal in algebra? To get rid of everything except for the variable. So where is the variable? So I need to get rid of everything on the right side except for 3 is not s. Okay, so what do I need to get rid of? 22. Okay, I got rid of it. That's the answer, yes? Okay. I know, clearly, right? Right. So, Tristan, if this had not been the 3rd week of doing this, I'd be cutting you a little bit of slack. Tristan, the goal in algebra is to do what? So where is the variable?
Right.
So what would I need to get rid of? Give me everything.
Sorry. Yeah.
Say again.
3.
If I got rid of 3, then we're done, yes? So what do I need to get rid of? What? Tristan, you see the letter S that I just wrote? Is it by itself?
Yes.
Does it look like this? What would I need to get rid of to look like this?
3.
Thank you. Okay, now you got to tell me why you were confused on that, because I'm not sure.
I don't know either.
Right? How many times have we done this?
A lot.
I know. So that's my frustration is if you tell me, if you can communicate why you were messing up there, we're good. But if you can't, that's the issue. Is like when I say get the variable by itself and you say just get rid of 22, and I'm like, well, no, that won't do it. So every time we do these algebra problems, it's the same thing. Find the variable. In this case, we got variables on both sides, so we had to get them all on one side. But once that's done, then you need to get rid of everything on that side except for the variable. All right. Now that we got that out of the way, which one do you want to get rid of first? How do we get rid of 22? Both sides. 13 minus 22 is -9. Now what? Because it's attached by addition. Because it's attached by addition.
Oh,
Divide.
Divide by what?
3.
Okay, both sides by 3. Therefore, S equals -3. All right. Hey, if you were, thank you, Tristan, for making all those mistakes, and I truly do mean that. Hey, if you were in pain because you were trying to communicate with your brain to Tristan about why doesn't he get this, then you're in a good spot because you know what to do. If you were as lost as Tristan is, then we got 2 days to fix it. Hey, Tristan, tutoring, student advisement, what should you be doing? Yeah, exactly. We still have 2 days. We can fix this, by the way. And I don't think you're this lost. You were not this lost last week, right? Something happened over the weekend. I don't know. All right. Here we go. You got 2 in front of you, box 2. Do those, please. And then we'll go on to the more challenging ones, and then I'll hand out homework. Mm-hmm. Brown?
that's like the only ones I actually turned in.
You got everything though?
Not everything.
Oh. Oh, I like it. Well, you're not in agreement with Riley. Well, I'm not saying that he's right, but one of you. Does this all sound familiar?
Never. Here's a gift.
Never? You were an algebra
gift.
one? Okay.
What else?
Okay. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes it can be a little bit. Okay, so let's take a look. You see that variables on both sides?
Or the same.
So you thought
Our whole job is to get all the variables on one side. So we have to
Which goes like where? Which like goes like
3x or negative x. Because 3x is positive and negative x is negative, so therefore positive, right?
No, I'm doing Swiper. I am 12.
So which one is bigger? 3x or negative?
chicken.
Okay, so we're gonna move the smaller. So I want to get rid of. I don't want to do the left side.
Get rid of 5 and subtract.
Both sides. Plus one is on both sides.
Did you get that? Okay.
And then I'm sure your teacher, when you saw him equation last year, had to draw more than all line, right?
When you remember 2.
3x and 1x.
1/2. Oh, so I'm not crazy. I'm talking about that one.
1x minus 1 is
Brain hurt. Same difference. What happened? You said you wanted to do
So we got rid of the minus 1x. Now we
Having a 100, so it's 6 negative 6 over negative 2 over 6.
got variables on the left side.
Why isn't my brain understanding this?
Negative 3 over negative 2.
You have choices.
Yeah, you're right.
Always get
Hola. Yeah, hold on.
the opposite of subtract.
That's not swiper. That's the molten G-force.
Same thing both sides. So add change both sides.
You give me a horribly
When I say
G-force.
sides, I'm talking about the equal sign. The sign separates left from right. Plus 10 plus 10. No, no. Add 10 both sides.
That's swiper. You can have Dora's
10
grandma.
minus 10 is 0 to 1.
Whereas, and what they Dora took the wrinkles.
We're almost there, right? You might someone
Yeah, also. When you
Well, it's attached by multiplying. The opposite of multiplication is. So we're going to divide both sides. Divide with the fraction.
this right.
Where's it there?
All right, up here. Sorry for the delay. First one. Let's see. I'm going to add x to both sides. Listen, please. Listen. Tristan, did you get any of these done?
Yeah.
Which one? What'd you get? Final answer? What'd you get? Hey, please be quiet so I can help. Okay, so now what? Where's the variable? What side? What's attached to the opposite, to the inverse? Always get rid of addition, subtraction first. There's that one time you don't. 24.
I figured it out. We're not having mental presentation.
How is it attached to the inverse? How is it attached? It's either attached by add, subtract, multiply, or divide. Both sides by 4, x equals 6. Okay. All right. Yes? All right. For those who did the last one, the answer is 1.5 or 3 over 2. Okay?
You know, I got it
Or
right.
1.5. I did say you got it right. I said, no, I said your two answers don't match.
And then you said, oh, and then you went to
No, I said, right. So put in doubt. I don't want to immediately say, all right, time out. Yes. Okay, 2 goes to 3 how many times? There's 1 left over, 1.5. What I said was this, listen, I said that we were okay with improper fractions from now on. What I said was you did not have to turn it into a mixed number. So for me, I'm done. I'm not going to go one more step and make a mistake. I also said you didn't need to convert a fraction. Guys, time out for a sec. Thank you. I also said you didn't need to make it into a decimal. Chances are you can still make another mistake. All right. Now we're going to do the really big kid problems. All right. Look at the board. So here we go. Look at the board.
Look at the board.
So notice we have an equal sign that separates the left side from the right side. Notice we have 2 distributive properties. If you have a distributive property, always do the distributive property first.
Yes.
Okay, I can't think of an occasion where that's not true, right? There might be one, depending upon if you have lots of properties. But for this year, you see a distributive property, get it done. All right, Aiden, can you do distributive property on this one real quick? All right. First arrow would give you First arrow would give you 10 what?
10x.
10x. Second arrow would give you,
Second arrow will give you 3.
we're multiplying, we're not adding.
Okay.
First arrow?
Oh, the second one?
Yep.
Negative. Is it with the 1? I don't know.
Okay, the first arrow would look like this, Aiden.
Is it always on the left side or?
There's your first arrow.
Where's the second one? Okay, I was looking at the 3.
I know you were.
So that one.
Hey, girls. What do we get? Hey, Julie,
10,
come sit here, please.
10x.
What's the second arrow give us?
The second one gives 1.
What two numbers am I
10
multiplying?
and 1.
There's no 10. There's a 2 and a negative 1.
You got 10 from that one.
No, that's not how it works.
2x.
Okay, positive times a negative is not a positive.
Okay. Negative 2x.
Not 2x. Where did the x come from?
No,
Okay, do you see the two green arrows?
Yeah.
They point to the two things you need to multiply. The first one's a small arrow, 2 times 5x. That's 10x. The second one goes from the 2 to the negative 1. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Because there's no x to multiply there. The x is only attached to the first number. Okay, all right. Tristan, do the second one.
Okay. As I was saying.
Do it. First arrow gives you what? First arrow gives you what?
3x.
What's the second arrow give you?
33.
Positive or negative? Okay. Hey, if you're doing this and you're making a mistake on every single step, your chances of passing are pretty close to 0. We need to start making a little bit of progress here. Distributive property is not part of this chapter. It was the previous chapter. Okay. All right. We're going to get rid of the smaller of the two variables. That would be 3x. 3x is smaller than 10x. We subtract 3x from both sides. 10x minus 3x is 7x. Now it's a two-step equation, right? Two-step equation. Haley, what do I do?
You do plus 2 both sides.
Can you do that in your head? What do you get?
5.
Give me the whole thing. What do you get?
5.
Give me the whole thing.
7x equals 35.
So you get to a point where you're so confident in yourself that you don't even need to show the work for two-step equations. You do it so many times. Most of you in this class are probably there, which is why I said, could you do this in your head? And she did in her head. Do I encourage you to do it in your head? No. But I'm just saying you should get to the point where, when is it going to get challenging? None of this is challenging anymore. Last step is what? Therefore, the answer is, most of you should be able to jump to the answer without even showing me the work because you've done so many of these. All right. Hey, we got about 4 people in here, maybe 5, right? That their effort in here is the reason why they're not doing well, right? I have about 12 people in here that they could take the test today. But for the people that are struggling and you're not making an effort, well, there's your reason. You should be worried if you're getting it wrong, right? I'm always worried about all my students, but I'm saying you should be worried if you're not getting this. And if you're not getting this, why aren't you asking me questions, right? All right, one last one. Here's your last chance. Julie, distributive property, first side, go. Because 4 times 2 is 6.
Wait. No, it's 8.
8y. Keep talking. Very good. Can you do the other side too? So Julie knows how to do the distributive property. She does not have an issue with that. Is she going to make a mistake, Julie? Probably, right? But I'm just saying she knows what she's doing. if you know what you're doing, you can at least get a C on the test, even if you make a silly mistake. She just did 2 of them very quickly. I don't have any issues with Julie, at least on the distributor property, right? So Julie, now what? Okay, that is a choice. I would probably suggest the smaller of the 2. So if you subtract 8y from both sides, it'll work. We get a negative on this side, then you're dealing with a negative. It will eventually get us to the right answer. My suggestion is always move the smaller of the 2. Do you agree that 2y is smaller than 8y? So let's move the 2y. So instead of subtracting 8y, can you do that in your head? Tell me what to write. Yes? Okay. All right. 2-step equation. All right. Who am I going to call on? Nathan, tell me what to do. I'll do the math for you. Tell me what to do. Okay, then you do it all.
Oh, okay. Well, you're gonna do 4.
Take what?
4. You're gonna subtract 4.
Both sides, right?
Both sides.
Can you do that?
And it'll be 22.
No.
Nah, negative.
No.
Wait, what? Oh, wow. It's negative 30.
Good job. Keep going.
And it'll be
Well, just tell me what to do.
well, you're gonna divide
Both sides by.
both sides of 6. No, 6.
That's what I was saying. You just tell me what to do. I'll tell you the answer.
Yeah.
Negative 5.
I just
Okay. I know Nathan knows what he's doing. He told me every single step, even though one of them was slightly in dispute. But it wasn't a dispute of what to do. It's a dispute of what the answer was. Right? I'm happy if we get that far with every student. If all the classes like that, well, I got problems. But I'm saying, as long as I get all my students that can tell me the right step, that's what algebra is about. The actual calculation, that's entirely different, right? Yes, you have to do that correct to get to the right answer. Yes, that is the ultimate goal, to get to the right answer. But if we can't even tell me, if you can't tell me what the right step is, I can't pass you in algebra. You're going to fail, right? I don't want this to start off as a bad day for you, but at this school, if you fail algebra, there's no, well, yeah, no, you really do pass because we wink, wink, you pass. You fail, you fail. You don't graduate. You go to summer school until you pass the class. So let's just get this right the first time. And I'm only talking to a few people here. I'm not talking to the whole class, clearly. Most of the class is going to do fine on this test. Yeah.
So do we have to write out all our work on
Okay, so for the kids that are like way above the other kids, what do you need to show me? You better show me that step, you better show me that step, you better show me that step, you better show me the answer. Now, who do you think I'm talking to?
Josie.
I'm talking to the kids that I am confident that they're not going to make a mistake. If you're going to make a mistake, you better write all the steps. But if you're like, I got this, right? Then I'll just say by the time we get to geometry, that's all I don't write this stuff anymore, geometry and higher. We go, the ones that I marked in green for you e-learners, that was the 2nd, 4th, 6th, and last step. Because that tells me, oh, well, yeah, I know you're supposed to subtract. We all agree that we subtract 2y from both sides. So I'm okay, but that's clearly not for everyone in this class. Some of you need a visual indicator of, oh, Nathan, right? 2 negatives. That's what finally cued him to say, oh, wait, we're supposed to add there, not subtract. If you leave that off, chances are you'll screw it up. But if you can visually say, oh, wait, 2 negatives, we're adding, right? Questions? All right. There's one other flavor, and it looks like this. All right. This is as complicated as it gets. I will have at least 2 of these on the test. There's one other flavor of complications we get to. This is one where not only there's a distributive property, there's a combined like terms one. Remember, if there's no number attached, there's always a 1. So what am I distributing to the inside here? Somebody? Chris?
2 times 5.
What am I distributing to the inside?
1.
1.
Wrong.
Negative 1.
-1. It says literally minus. Now, if you either remember it's not a trick, you remember the trick, or you remember what happens when there's a minus sign directly in front of parentheses, you can use that. If not, then I want you to distribute a -1, Mike. What do I get when I distribute a -1? Distribute the -1 to the inside. What do we get? Perfectly. Well done. So you might not be able to do it that quickly, but I also am going to erase the 1 now. Mike said it's -5 plus r. Check it out. It's the opposite of what's written on the inside. When you have a negative in front of a set of parentheses, the result is you write the opposite of what's on the inside. If you can't remember that, then what you're really doing is you're distributing a -1 to the inside. -1 times 5 is -5. -1 times -r is +r. Yes? You're both talking at the same time. Why does it change from subtraction to addition? What's a negative times a negative? That's why. Okay. Hey, are we done? Can we move the r's, or do we need to do something else? What?
Can't you just put a 1 in front of
I can. Are we done, or do we want to move r's, or do we want to combine r's? Notice on the left side, you can group like terms together. -5 and r are not like terms, but 2r plus r are like terms. What's 2r plus 1r? You see what I did there? Okay. All right. Haley, which is the smaller? Which one are we moving? Which is smaller? So which two am I comparing, by the way? Which is smaller? Yes. So that's the one I want to move. And 2r is positive, so what am I going to do to both sides? Perfect. Good job. Well done. Algebra is your thing. You just don't want to admit it. Algebra is your thing. All right. 3r minus 2r, Haley? Okay. I'm going to write r, but there's nothing wrong with writing 1r. Tristan, what are we getting rid of, the 1 or the 5? So what are we going to do? What do we get? That's the answer. You're like, well, what happened to the 1? Well, remember, I just put that 1 in there to hold it up. Okay? I will have no problem on the test. It's any more complicated than that.
What word problems are you going to put on the
Well, yeah, I can't tell you that part, but the word problem will be very similar to the 4 that we did last night or over the weekend for homework. All right.
Will it have time in it?
It will not have any time. I'll make that promise. It could have money, though. All right. No, tomorrow. Look at me. The answers are right here. Right? As you're doing, oh, I do have to show you one last thing. Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
No, I forgot. And it was the same thing I did in the last class. All right, look up here. So there is one strange thing that can happen when you have, it's the but case, right? They're called special cases, but this could also happen. Okay, so there are 2 things that can happen. This only happens if you have variables on both sides. Check it out. I got variables on both sides. They're both 5s. Well, then clearly 5s is the same as 5s. I need to subtract 5s from both sides. But when you do that, you get this nonsensical answer. 13 doesn't equal 22. I did good math and got a bad answer. So what's the answer? This is one of those ones where you write no solution. There is no number because 13 doesn't equal 22. There is no number that I can plug in for s that would make the left side equal the right side. This will happen on the test. It will happen tonight for homework as well, too. Right? Just convince yourself that you're doing good math. You know, if I tell you, and it'll be on the practice test as well, that one of them is no solution, you're going to be convinced that they're all no solution. got to make sure that you do good algebra. But yes, if you wind up with the same variable and coefficient on both sides, you will wind up with this as one of the possible answers. No solution. Okay? This is the symbol for no solution. It's a 0 with a slash, so it means null set or empty set. All right. The second thing that can happen is this. Check it out. I do the distributive property. That would give me 5s plus 20. I subtract 5s from both sides, and I get, well, 20 does equal 20. In this case, what's the answer? This is the one where we say either the identity or infinite solution. Either one is fine. The identity means you equal yourself, right? Okay, that will happen. It will also happen tonight for homework. But it only happens, are you listening? This can only happen, these two possible answers, either no solution or infinite solutions. This can only happen when you start with variables on both sides. If variables are just on the left or right, it's like the first, 8 or 9 questions. If variables are on just one side, this cannot happen. All right. Thank you for volunteering. All right, any questions? Hey, one last speech and I'll be done with speeches, at least for today. Hey, I'm really worried about 4 or 5 of you on this test. It's the last test before the quarter ends. Most of you are passing. Some of you are, you're not listening, you're talking. Some of you are awfully close to not passing. Right? And those people know who they are. It's not like a surprise. You need to do well on this test. So we're going to do a review today, and then a review tomorrow will look similar to this. It'll just be a bit more challenging. Right? Make sure you use your time wisely. We don't have enough time to get to do this in class. The bell's about to ring. But tomorrow in class, if you are seated next to someone who you know you will do horrible work with, Tristan, Julie, Aiden, all right? You need to move. All of you people are surrounded by some very smart people who I have no concerns over whatsoever. Right? I need you to do solid work. Julie, I have least concern about you. I have less concern about you. I'm sure you're going to pass, but I have concern about you sitting next to Kaylee, sitting next to Hannah, sitting next to Tristan. Right, so I think moving Julie would probably solve a lot of problems. All right. Sit there chit-chatting with yourselves. I need to get you now. So this is just a review. This is nice and well done. So I want you to try to I will say that you did everything. So
It's a risky job. Not the nicest when it comes to it.
So you were doing some graphing already?
Let's go.
You're eating in here, so bring your food back.
Let's go get
I need to bring your lunch.
I'm gonna go get
We're eating in here.
Oh, okay, sorry.
You'll get a seat.
I can't go. Go into the music hallway and look for her head. Where are you going?
You were seeing that you wanted to.
Are we
I don't remember. It wasn't
Yeah.
May. I know that.
Are you gonna come join us over here?
And your
No,
algebra
I
was
think-
scary bad. I mean, it was like,
Yeah, but math is one of the things that, for solving equations, isn't things I just don't think you've been exposed to enough of this. This was also, remember the summer you took that practice test, you did the same thing there. So I'm like, I know where you're at algebra. I mean, you were not ready for geometry, or if the readiness was successful completion in algebra, you were not ready for that. It's not that you can't do geometry, it's just that you didn't know how to solve equations in either. So, yeah.
So, are we coming in today?
I would like you to.
Okay, because I had no clue what I was doing.
Well, remember that was word problems. I was kind of expecting that. Okay. Which is why we didn't tutor on that. We spent time on this, solving equations.
This is like fun and easy.
Oh, e-learners, I left you guys hanging. All right, if you guys have any questions, who's here today? Haley. Haley, you have any questions?
Yes, I do, but I will wait for the video
Okay.
tonight, so that way I can
Have
watch.
a great day, and tomorrow we're going to do a review for the test. So have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow. I can see you. I have something's going on with my audio. I can see you.
You can't hear me?
I can't hear you, but I can see your lip. I read your lips by you saying you can't hear me, right? If you have any questions, just send me an email. Right?
Okay.
See ya.